And in other news, why is there still no U.S. ambassador to Israel? Mike Huckabee's Senate confirmation hearing for the position of ambassador to Israel has been delayed again. Joining me in the studio to discuss the controversy is ILTV's executive editor, Maayan Hoffman. Maayan, what's the story? I mean, what is the holdup?
Well, Lidar, it is actually relatively strange that we still do not have this ambassador, especially considering that Mike Huckabee was nominated as one of the first nominees back in November, on November 12th. Now, the hearing, from what I understand, was delayed a few times. The last time was supposed to be March 13th. That was last week. And here we are. It's now delayed until March 25th. Now, the delay is controversial. It's unclear exactly why it's been delayed, but let's call it rumors of people close to the White House have said that this is because of the Democrats pushing against Huckabee being in place, largely based on complaints by the American liberal Jewish community, which has said that Huckabee is a controversial figure. They're concerned, number one, about his position of a Palestinian state. Huckabee, as you know, is pro-annexation of Judea and Samaria and against the decision to have a Palestinian state. In addition, there's concern about his theological and eschatological, honestly, views. The concept of the end of days, they feel that he's a Christian extremist and actually could harm, the state of Israel. Now, Christian evangelicals, of course, are pushing back, as well as some right-wing or religious Zionist Jews. We've seen a number of statements, letters to the Senate coming out in order to protest this delay. Most recently, there was a petition. It was put out by the American Christians for Israel. That's being disseminated now, scheduled to go to the Senate to ensure that there is no more delay next week.
So it's actually really quite surprising that the opposition is coming from the liberal Jewish American community. That's not where you would expect it to come from.
That's right. I mean, it's really fascinating. I mean, I think the truth is you would somewhat expect it to come. It's mostly from Reform Jews. There are about 2 million Reform Jews that these rabbis who sent their own letter to the Senate about 3-4 weeks ago complaining about Huckabee. They sent this letter. They protested in some open op-eds to Huckabee's position. You know that there's actually quite a large divide, both between, the liberal Jewish community and what we would call the religious Zion, or the more conservative Jewish community right now in the United States. That more conservative community is siding with the evangelicals and certainly wants to see a figure like Huckabee be put into this position so that annexation, or what they call sovereignty over Judea and Samaria, can move forward.
And I think this current administration here in Israel would also very much like to see Huckabee arrive. He's been a great friend to Israel.
Yeah, I think it's without question. Again, he would be the first evangelical Christian, ambassador to come to the country. As we know, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is quite close with the evangelical community. He's even made statements in the past stating that the evangelicals are Israel's best friend.
And so do you believe that Huckabee will ultimately get the nomination?
I do believe he will, and I think that this is a controversy that is actually not controversial, that in the end, although it has been pushed off, what I'm hearing from sources very close to the White House is that the nomination will go through, and in fact, he will be put in place. The issue is that Israel urgently needs an ambassador here on the ground. It would have tremendous impact on people like Envoy Steve Witkoff coming here and managing his visits to the region in order to move forward those hostage and other negotiations, certainly in light of the new airstrikes that took place today in Gaza.
Absolutely. All right, Maayan Hoffman, thank you so much for the story.
Thank you.